Malami tries to defend himself as he proves to Nigerians that he's working for the Fulanese. You know, Malami is the one who have assured the Mighty Allahs that they should go ahead and sue southern governors who has refused them opportunity of open grazing in their region. Nigerians, the governors, everybody is blasting him. Guess what he said? My position on open grazing is constitutional. I have my rights. I have my rights to do and undo. And people are wondering, what rights do you really have? What rights are you talking about? He said his position is constitutional. And for every other person, he does not take position. This is the Attorney General of the Federation, the most corrupt person, and yet is the defender of the law, on corruption. So I don't understand how, how it works. This person is the custodian of the law and is the person who also destroys the law. So, I mean, how do you relate all these things? He said his position on the anti-grazing matter is constitutional because he wants the Fulanis to continue to graze and to do and undo, and nobody will, harass them. They're not talking about the lives and property being destroyed, though. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe if this is your first time. Thank you. My position on open grazing constitutional, Malami tries to explain. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, yesterday blasted those criticizing his stand on Southern governor's position on open grazing, saying whatever he said on the issue was not outside the scope of the nation's constitution. Malami stated this while feeding questions from the State House correspondent at the end of the virtual Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He said, well, on the issue of farmer header clashes, this is Malami speaking, no position was taken by the Office of the Attorney General outside the scope of the constitutional provision. The position of the Office of the Attorney General is about freedom and liberty of movement among people. And what the Office of the Attorney General simply succeeded in doing is making a reference to relevant constitutional provision and established a position that each and every Nigeria is entitled to freedom of movement. Simple. So the issue of whether the freedom of movement is constitutionally generated or not, and my answer is to it. The freedom of movement is indeed constitutionally guaranteed. Also, responding to his position on VAT, the governors pushed for states to collect their tax. He said the federal government was contemplating taking the matter to the Supreme Court, which, according to him, has jurisdiction over such matters. He said the issue of VAT, well, as you rightly know, there were certain judgments obtained by some state governors at their judiciary and localities before the respective state high courts. And arising from that judgment and the laws that were passed by those of the states, the federal government filed an appeal against the judgment challenging the laws that were put in place, which I feel has been determined by the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal has guaranteed an order of stay of execution directing those state governors and governments to maintain status quo pending determination of the main appeal, and those matters are being considered for determination. Some other governors have filed in an application for seeking to join in the matter of interest as parties. But again, there is pending equally an application and preliminary objection that the matter challenging the competence of the action and indeed the judgment was obtained. But the federal government is still looking at other possibilities or options open in terms of challenging the action of the state government. But one thing is that fundamentally that you need to know as being the issue equally being considered for determination by the court is that the federal government is challenging the power of the state government to legalize and legislate on issues associated with collection of VAT. The position of the federal government has conversed, which is being looked into, is the judiciary system, is that the effect that by our laws, the powers of legislators on collection of VAT is statutorily vested on the National Assembly, and with that in mind, it is within the scope and power of the state government to legislate on the issue of the collection. So Malami is saying, well, he stands on his ground that the governors or the people, what he has said about collection of VAT, yes, is constitutional, and it should be respected, and went on to explain that what is happening right now, with regards to his position, he's speaking according to the constitution, and he does not want anybody to interfere with his position. Then regarding the Fulani herdsmen, he said he's speaking constitutionally, that the Fulani herdsmen have a right. Nobody's saying no. I don't think the question here or the issue here is the freedom of movement for the Fulanis. Of course, they are free to move about. In fact, if anybody says they should not move about, the Southerners should be the ones to correct those people to say no. Freedom of movement from one place to the other within the state is acceptable, is what should be. Yes, but when you are talking about cows, there is no freedom of movement for animals. In fact, some airlines will specifically tell you we don't take pets. So what happens is you don't force those airlines to carry your pets. What do? You go ahead and you look for airlines that are tailored to you, that can do pets. So you don't come around and you begin to do whatever you want to do and undo because you think that you are the attorney general or you hold some position. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't stand that way, and it's not constitutionally right. The Attorney General of the Federation continued to support bandits, Fulani herdsmen, and it shows that the federal government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, loves the Fulanis or love bandits. And in fact, these are the main people, who continue to, assist and help him in doing some of these things. And so he will not stop. He will stop at doing nothing but to continue in what he's doing. So when you look at the matter, everybody is worried. Everybody is really concerned as to what exactly is going on. Why do we keep quiet? Why do we allow such things to happen? Is he right? Is he right? The Attorney General of the Federation speaking in terms and speaking, in this kind of mind, and is telling you that what he's doing is constitutionally correct. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Please don't forget to like us, share, subscribe. Click on the notification button so you can get all our latest news. Remember, you have a voice. God bless you. Bye for now.